Back inside the Soyuz TMA-12 as the commander, Sergei Volkov, on the left side of your screen, and Oleg Kononenko on the right side of your screen, seated to Volkov's left, continue to run through their checklists as the countdown has now reached the T-minus 36-minute mark. Technicians are taking a look at a possible problem with one of the zippers on Volkov's suit that apparently broke. The pressure in his suit temporarily dropped, then was restored to normal. So they're just in the process now of verifying that we have good suit pressure integrity for Volkov's suit as the countdown proceeds toward launch at 6:16 a.m. Central Time this morning. Once the launch occurs, Volkov, who is serving today as Soyuz commander under the call sign of Uranus, which is a constellation that represents a very long winding river starting at the left foot of the Orion constellation to the north, sweeping south of Taurus to the west edge of Cetus in the sky. Volkov and Kononenko, as the onboard Soyuz flight engineer, will oversee several orbital correction maneuvers using thrusters on the spacecraft to adjust the altitude and trajectory relative to the International Space Station as it begins the chase to rendezvous and dock to the complex on Thursday morning.
Над ремнем между привязной системы? Да. Ну да, потому что тут как раз же получается ремень чуть-чуть левее находился. Принято. Переданную, работаем по ранее запланированной программе. Затяните плечевые ремни, САС заведен, и выберите на НПУ-1 формат КСП левая, на НПУ-2 формат КСП правая. Запрещено перебирать форматы на НПУ. Как поняли? Приняли вас. Выбираем на КСП левом, на НПУ первом КСП левая, на НПУ втором КСП 2, САС введен, затягиваем ремни.
Technicians down at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan continue to provide status reports. Those status reports on vehicle processing and the most critical phases of the countdown are ongoing as we approach the T-minus 33-minute mark into the countdown.
Передаем на 16-3. Сергей, выбрали на ИНПУ-1 формат? ИНПУ-2? Подтверждаю. На ИНПУ-1 выбран КСП левая, на ИНПУ-2 выбран КСП правая. Принято. Спасибо. Передан 1-16-3. Сергей, ты можешь вот то место, где у тебя вылез пузырь, как-то ремнем перетянуть, чтобы он, не вылезал? Понимаешь меня? Или это невозможно? Я понял. Я думаю, что если я привязные ремни смещу чуть-чуть правее, они как раз лягут на это место. Понял. И еще у тебя вот пузырь вылез на, где-то ты говорил, на 15 сантиметров. Это от ремня на высоту или в ширину? Вот и 15 сантиметров, это что было? Он надулся как шарик просто, поэтому это общий диаметр его 15. Общий диаметр? 15 сантиметров, да. Принято.
As we continue to watch the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside Moscow, where Russian flight controllers will take over the control of the flight of the Soyuz TMA-12 once it reaches orbit and its solar arrays and navigational antennas are deployed. In the last couple of hours, some of the critical milestones leading to the launch have included the activation of systems for the health checks of the radio communications, the thermal control and motion control systems of the Soyuz rocket and the Soyuz TMA-12 capsule. The first stage of the Soyuz rocket has 4 liquid-fueled engines strapped to the side of the core vehicle. Each burns for about 1 minute 58 seconds. The core engine also serves as the second stage engine and continues to burn until about the 4 minute 58 second point of the Soyuz's climb to orbit. The third stage has a single engine that will burn for about 4 minutes and 2 seconds, shutting down at the 9-minute mark of the flight. At this point, the Soyuz arrives into initial orbit of about 143 statute miles at its apogee, about 118 miles at its perigee, and the automated process of deploying the TMA-12 capsule's arrays and navigational antennas begins. From that point on, there will be a series of rendezvous maneuvers to begin to catch up to the International Space Station. In fact, there are 2 mid-course correction burns that are scheduled today, a third one tomorrow, before the vehicle moves into its automated rendezvous operations on Thursday that will lead to a docking to the International Space Station just after 8 a.m. Central Time on Thursday. At the time of launch today, the International Space Station will be flying over the Pacific Ocean just west of Pitcairn Island. Inside 30 minutes now to the launch of the Soyuz TMA-12. Inside the capsule itself, station and Soyuz commander Sergei Volkov is in the center seat. Flight engineer Oleg Kononenko is strapped into the left seat as the onboard engineer, and South Korean spaceflight participant So Yun-yi is in the right seat. The 23.5-foot-long Soyuz spacecraft weighs almost 16,000 pounds, is composed of 3 modules. At the very top is the orbital module. At the bottom is the instrumentation and propulsion module, and sandwiched in between, the descent module, in which the crew resides for launch and landing. That's the only one of the 3 components that returns to Earth. After the spacecraft reaches orbit, its solar array wings are deployed, spanning almost 35 feet, the entire spacecraft nestled inside a protective shroud at the top of the Soyuz booster that is jettisoned about 3 minutes after launch. The crew uses the orbital module, sometimes known as the habitation module, during on-orbit operations. That includes the docking mechanism, the hatch, and the rendezvous and navigation antennas.
You are going to select any format on M.
The descent module contains personally contoured couches for the crew members during launch, re-entry, and landing. This module contains all of the controls and displays necessary for critical flight activities, contains the life support provisions, the batteries for re-entry and landing, and the parachutes and the landing engines that fire just prior to touchdown to soften the Soyuz's landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan. The instrumentation and propulsion module houses the oxygen and storage tanks, the attitude control thrusters, and the communications and control equipment, as well as the avionics equipment that is used for primary guidance, navigation, and control, as well as the computer systems